Before CGI, before auto-tune, before any of it, there was just a person, a camera, and a floor. And somehow, that was enough to stop the world. Welcome to Celebs Lab, and today we are counting down the 10 actors who defined the golden age of Hollywood musicals. So let's get started, and don't miss the bonus actor at the end. Number 10, Gene Nelson. Gene Nelson was inspired to become a dancer at the age of 13 after watching Fred Astaire in Flying Down to Rio. He trained as a gymnast and ice skater and arrived in Hollywood to become Warner Brothers' resident athletic hoofer of the 1950s. He danced with Doris Day in Tea for Two, won the 1951 Golden Globe for Most Promising Newcomer, and appeared in a string of Technicolor musicals that showcased his combination of tap, acrobatics, and easygoing charm. His defining moment came in Oklahoma in 1955, where his lasso-twirling dance to Kansas City remains one of the great set pieces of the era. Critics would later call him the final male dancer choreographer film star of the 1950s. He never got the MGM treatment, but those who saw him knew exactly what they were looking at. Number 9, Vera-Ellen. Vera-Ellen began dancing at the age of 9, and by her late teens, she was one of the youngest rockets at Radio City Music Hall, and was fired after 2 weeks for showing too much individuality on stage. That spirit could not be contained. She was spotted by Samuel Goldwyn in a Broadway production of A Connecticut Yankee in 1943 and launched a film career that would put her opposite virtually every great male dancer of the era, Gene Kelly in On the Town, Fred Astaire in Three Little Words, and The Belle of New York, and Danny Kaye in White Christmas, where her gliding, technically immaculate dancing made Rosemary Clooney publicly declare she simply could not keep up. Astaire said she could do ballet, tap, anything you wanted. For a performer who never achieved the stardom she deserved, her legacy on film is more than enough. Number 8, Cyd Charisse. Cyd Charisse started dancing at 6 years old, and by 13, she was touring with the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo with a stage name. By the time MGM signed her, she was the studio's resident ballerina and one of the most dangerous dance partners in Hollywood. Her 5 minutes in Singing in the Rain alongside Gene Kelly was enough to steal the film from its own star. Fred Astaire, who danced with everyone, called her beautiful dynamite, saying that when you danced with Cyd, you stayed danced with. The Girl Hunt Ballet and the Band Wagon, where she plays both a femme fatale and an innocent in a single number, is frequently cited as one of the finest dance sequences in film history. MGM insured her legs for $5 million. Nobody argued with the valuation. Number 7, Donald O'Connor.
Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
Donald O'Connor never went to school. He was born into a vaudeville family, joined the family act at 13 months, and spent his childhood performing alongside the Marx Brothers and Jimmy Durant. By the time he reached Hollywood, he was natural, electric, and casually unstoppable. Gene Kelly personally requested him for Singing in the Rain, telling the studio he needed a dancer who could take a beating, and O'Connor delivered Make 'em Laugh, a number involving pratfalls, wall runs, and 2 backflips off a concrete floor, entirely in a single day. He was bedridden for 3 days afterward. The camera had fogged the first take. He did the entire thing again. The result was later described as the essence of entertainment. There is no better 3-word summary of everything Donald O'Connor ever brought to a stage in his life. Number 6. James Cagney. James Cagney started his career as a chorus boy, spent a decade on the New York stage as a song and dance man, then became the most famous screen villain of the 1930s while the dancer inside him waited.
Yell at
The wait ended in 1942 with Yankee Doodle Dandy, in which he played Broadway legend George M. Cohan, a role Fred Astaire had repeatedly turned down as too far from his own style. For Cagney, it was a homecoming. The famous tap sequence down the White House staircase was improvised 5 minutes before filming without telling the director or crew. He won the Academy Award for Best Actor, becoming the first performer to win that prize for a musical role. Katharine Hepburn reportedly wept watching his performance. George M. Cohan himself saw the film, nodded his head, and called it a tremendous act to follow. Number 5. The Nicholas Brothers. Fred and Harold Nicholas grew up in the wings of the Standard Theater in Philadelphia, where their parents played in the orchestra. Fred taught himself to dance by watching every act that came through. By 1932, they were headlining the Cotton Club in Harlem alongside Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway. In 1943, they produced the single most spectacular dance sequence in Golden Age Hollywood, the Jump and Jive number from Stormy Weather, in which they leapfrogged down a grand staircase, landing in full splits on every step. Danced on top of a piano, and completed the entire 3-minute routine in one take with no rehearsal. Fred Astaire watched the footage and said it was the greatest dancing he had ever seen on film. Michael Jackson would later cite them as a primary influence. The Nicholas brothers did not receive the starring roles they deserved. What they left on film is permanent. Number 4. Rita Hayworth.
They once had a shooting.
Rita Hayworth was born Margarita Cancino, the daughter of a Spanish flamenco dancer and a Ziegfeld Foley showgirl. She was performing professionally by the age of 12, touring Mexican nightclubs as part of the Dancing Cancinos alongside her father. A Fox film executive spotted her at 16. By the time she reached her peak at Columbia Pictures in the 1940s, she had been trained in ballet, tap, ballroom, and Spanish dance, and was partnering with the 2 greatest male dancers in film history. Fred Astaire, who almost never named favorites, admitted privately that Rita Hayworth was his. She danced with Gene Kelly in CoverGirl in 1944, making her the first of only 6 women to partner with both men on screen. In Gilda in 1946, her glove striptease to Put the Blame on Mame became one of the defining images of an era. She once said the only jewels of her life were the pictures she made with Astaire and CoverGirl too. Number 3, Ginger Rogers. Ginger Rogers won a Charleston contest at the age of 15. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress at 29 for a dramatic role with no dancing in it at all. In between those two facts lies one of the most extraordinary runs in the history of popular entertainment. From 1933 to 1939, Rogers danced in 9 films with Fred Astaire at RKO, defining the movie-musical partnership for every generation that followed. Katharine Hepburn said that Astaire gave Rogers class while Rogers gave Astaire sex. What that assessment leaves out is the craft. Rogers did everything Astaire did backwards and in high heels, while also acting through every step. Film critic John Mueller wrote that the reason so many women fantasized about dancing with Astaire was that Rogers made it look like the most thrilling experience imaginable. Astaire himself said she faked it brilliantly when she had to, and then just kept getting better until she was irreplaceable. Number 2, Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly grew up in Pittsburgh, dropped out of law school during the Great Depression, and opened a dance studio with his mother and brother to help keep the family afloat. He arrived on Broadway in 1940, playing a pimp in Pal Joey, not the obvious route to becoming the most influential male dancer in Hollywood history, but Kelly had a vision. Dance as something physical, democratic, and unmistakably American. His Sailors Doing Ballet in On the Town, his solo in the Rain filmed while he had a fever. The 17-minute ballet finale of An American in Paris, everyone pushed to the art form somewhere it had never been. He received a special Academy Award in 1951 for his versatility as an actor, singer, director, and dancer, and specifically for his brilliant achievement in the art of choreography on film. Debbie Reynolds was only 18 when they made Singin in the Rain. She said simply, "There will never be another Gene."
Who could ask for anything more?
And before we reveal our number 1 pick, here are some more amazing dancing actors we've covered in other videos. Patrick Swayze, John Travolta, Christopher Walken. Number 1, Fred Astaire. Fred Astaire's first Hollywood screen test produced one of the most famous rejection notes in entertainment history. Can't act, can't sing, balding, can dance a little. He went on to make 31 musical films, to record songs that became permanent entries in the Great American Songbook, and to dance on the ceiling with a hat rack, in empty shoes, and through falling rain. Every dancer who came after him cited him as the standard. Born Frederick Austerlitz in Omaha, Nebraska, he began performing in vaudeville at the age of 4 alongside his sister Adele. When Adele retired in 1932, he went to Hollywood alone, a decision that permanently changed how dance was presented on screen. Gene Kelly called him the superior technician. Michael Jackson studied him obsessively. The AFI ranked him the 5th greatest male star in the history of American cinema. The screen test was wrong about everything except, arguably, one word. And now it's time for our bonus actor, Cyd Charisse. Cyd Charisse spent nearly a decade in the background of Hollywood's greatest musicals before anyone noticed his name. He was one of the tuxedo dancers surrounding Marilyn Monroe in Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. He danced in White Christmas. He appeared uncredited in Brigadoon and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Always present, always invisible. Then, in 1961, he was cast as Bernardo, leader of the Sharks in West Side Story, and everything changed. He had already played rival gang leader Riff in the London stage production for a year and a half, watching Bernardo from the opposite side of the stage every night until he understood the role from the inside out. His dancing in West Side Story is ferocious and beautiful simultaneously, the finest physical acting of his era. He won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He and co-star Rita Moreno have remained close friends ever since. The background dancer stepped into the light and never left. And that's a wrap. Do you agree with our picks? Who would make your personal list? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love classic cinema, do not forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.